Every entrepreneur has one. The moment you decide to start your own business, your story begins. And if you're like most business owners, your plan and your reality can end up being miles apart. Welcome to PTC TV and our series entitled The Journey. Each week, we will be talking to business owners about their business journey. Our hope is that by sharing these stories, others may find understanding, inspiration, and the will to succeed. So let me ask you, what's your story? Welcome to The Journey, brought to you by Pull the Chute. I'm your host, Jeff Sesol, and today we're with Kelly Horton, who is the founder and CEO of CG Recruiting. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you very much. It's good to talk to you, Jeff.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks.
Thank you.
So the question I want to start out with first is tell us a little bit about who you are, the background of you and how you got to where you're at today, and then we'll kind of go into your journey. But just give us a little background.
So my background is really, I kind of started in law.
Oh, wow.
And segued into human resources. And I think the early 2000s was a time when people began to think about their recruiting processes. And, Enron happened, so they had to get everything set up in a way that was consistent. And so ended up kind of landing in recruiting. It became something I was very passionate about. So naturally, I think when you're passionate about something, you do a good job at it. And worked in Fortune 100 for many years.
Oh, wow.
And left in 2017, and we founded this company shortly thereafter. So it's
Very great. Cool. And so what made you want to leave that and start CG Recruiting?
I would say, I think, a different philosophy than what recruiting tends to be with many companies. So we are very focused on quality and it being a very specific match. Not that other companies don't do that. I think a lot of people have a way that they do that. But I think working and selecting our clients in a very selective way, we kind of pressure test them before we decide to take them on as a client, has helped us really kind of stay true to our creed, which is making sure that the person is an exact fit on soft skills, not just what a resume says, because that truly is two different, totally different things.
So talk to me, I'm going to go a little deeper on the pressure test thing. So give me a little more, what does that mean? Because I think that's a unique term that I just heard.
We do. In this market, this is an employee market. I think people have options more than they've ever had before.
Sure,
Employees are able to name their price. You're able to, kind of go and work anywhere. So for people that want a quality employee, we want to understand that they're a good place to work. So a couple steps that we take, we are going to read their employee reviews.
Okay.
We're going to make sure that those are good. There's not an overarching theme. We are going to interview the senior leadership team. We want to understand that they know their culture and their core values and can speak to that in a very succinct way. We want to understand how they're going to onboard, because really recruiting never stops at the person's first day.
Sure.
So if someone does not have a clear ideology and a clear process on how they're going to onboard somebody, they're not going to be someone that we want to work with. And so we've terminated quite a few clients or didn't take them on because we didn't feel that we could sell them to a passive candidate.
So that's an opposite of what I would have thought. I would have thought that you focused more on the candidate, bringing them into the company. What you're telling me is that you put the company through the pressure test in a sense of making sure that they're a good company that you would even want to bring somebody into.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So
that's great.
Clients we focus on, and then when we work with our candidates, if we think they're great, if we get them to a place where they have an interview, maybe they weren't selected, there was a candidate that was better, we will take them on as clients as well, because we understand that there's value there. They're consistent. They have good soft skills, emotional intelligence levels to be successful anywhere, and we'll keep in contact with them. So we think of candidates as clients, and then our paying clients as clients.
Sure.
We approach things very differently in that regard.
Cool, I like that. So what's the environment like right now? I mean, is it a crazy environment? You said employees can kind of demand what they want. Are there really a lot of job openings for people? Or is that more of a myth that, because I feel like people are saying all the time, there's all these jobs, but yet people are applying all the time and they hear nothing. They hear crickets. That's kind of the
and I
message
think
I'm
that's
hearing.
a miss. So two things. One, I think there are a lot of jobs. I think a lot of those jobs tend to be potentially lower paying jobs. To use a cliche term, blue collar. I mean, we all know service challenges. We've been places where, people are not available to work. But there are a lot of jobs. And I think that, in this market, employers have been overwhelmed with, finding that quality candidate for a leadership position versus somebody that's, maybe on unemployment and just applying to so many jobs to retain that payment. And I think a third layer to that is post, I guess COVID's not completely gone, but now that
Will it ever be?
it probably won't be, but now that we're 2+ years past, I think the climate has changed in that the need and desire for remote and hybrid is very strong in the employee bracket. So we are told pretty frequently by potential candidates, I don't want to go into an office. And that's great, and I have empathy for that. But the reality is a lot of people, while that's something they're willing to do, hybrid, they do want somebody culturally in their office that they can collaborate with in person. So that's kind of a third layer of things that have changed that have been challenging for sure.
Yeah, I've seen that. And I believe that it's nothing that's going to change in the very near future either. I mean, it's here to stay for the long term. I agree with that.
It is.
What's been some of so 2017 you started the company, you're
2019.
2019, sorry, okay.
Left in late 2017.
Okay, 2019 you start the company, so we're 3 years in. What's been some of the highs? What were a few of the lows? I mean, have you had a few lows or,
We have, like any company, I think finding our niche, we knew going in that our passion was finding the right person for the right seat. I think we have fine-tuned that process and how we look at clients. As I said, we have terminated some relationships with some clients. And when we looked back and we reflect, I mean, I think part of leadership is being able to look back at your choices and ascertain, what could you have done differently. That's why we have our vetting process for our clients, because there were little things that were signals, and maybe we were in a hurry and, we got too much time invested in it down the road where we sorted out. We can't sell you as a great place to work. You are not a fit for our core values within our organization. So that has been challenging. I feel like we're on the other side of that now, but that was definitely a process for us. And then I think, COVID, recruiting can be costly. And sometimes if companies have, a strong need, the idea of paying someone 25% of an annual salary can be daunting. So we created a much more cost-effective product that would speak to all the things that we offer in our 12-step process on how we do it, how we recommend people do it, and we offer that in a subscription service. So
okay, great.
Kind of getting creative for what the market demands.
Yeah, right. That's good. So subscription service through your website, is that where that?
Yes, on our website, and it gives all of our processes, and so it tells you how to hire. I think people don't know how to really approach hiring. For example, there's a big difference between a job description and a job posting. They're two totally different things. People may not be aware of that. A lot of people just post a job description.
You just taught me something.
Yes. So that's important. And then, a real solid layer of that is how do you conduct an effective interview that's going to really tell you if that person is going to match your culture? Because resumes are only part of the story. And so unless you're able to dig down and really ascertain how someone's approaches a problem, you don't really have an accurate full layer of what they can do for your organization.
So you said a word that just jumped out at me, which was resumes. I mean, how do you get your resume, if you're someone applying for a job, how do you get your resume to stand out, and what do you look for when you're trying to match up someone with a client?
Okay, so resumes. Here's my pet peeve, and I've said this for years. I have had, in truth, fantastic resumes, particularly when I was in corporate America, and they were just dud employees. I have had, horrible resumes, and it turns out there's this bright, shining star. So again, you've got to understand, and I think this is a departure from just the cultural norm. Resumes are only a small, less than 10% of what that person's value really is to your organization.
Right,
so conducting, interviewing, and doing that effectively is probably most important. So, one of the things that we do as a recruiter that's different is I will be very transparent. I think all of us, our director of recruiting and everyone on the team is very upfront, and that's not meant to be cruel, but it's also meant to be effective. And we will say, hey, this resume doesn't shine you in your best experience light. Here's how you can tweak it. We want you to put your best foot forward with our client. Or sometimes we just say, hey, they're not a fit. But it's less than 10% of the match for the job. I cannot emphasize that enough. Yep.
That's interesting. So what level does CG Recruiting kind of go at? Are you at executive and up, or are you management? There's all these different levels. Where are you guys focused?
We really focus management and up. Management directors, we do a lot of C-suite placements. We do not do a ton of hourly positions. Okay. We do a lot of sales. I think that's something that we do well. Sales positions, a salesperson is not the same. I mean, I think that's another, I get on my bandwagon, but that's another position where I think you've got to really understand your culture and know what they're selling, what's the sales cycle, who are they contacting, because, if you've got a whale hunter, they're not going to want to be a small-time fisherman. Right. And so you've got to dig deep on those as well. Those are very specific placements for sure.
Yeah, that's great. And so what's one of the biggest things that you've been most excited about since you've started the business?
Gosh. One of the things that make us all so happy is when someone starts in the job and we always follow up with them. That's another thing we do that's probably different from our peers. And the client is so excited and the candidate is so excited and it's so mutual, and everybody is so thankful for making that match because they know that it's a great fit. That is something that makes what we do so rewarding, and our team greatly looks forward to those calls and those matchmaking. Yes. Love
that. So as you're trying to find candidates, how do you find candidates, I guess? Let's just go to the basics.
So we are true headhunters. Okay. We are not running ads. We are not out there kind of casting a net and seeing what comes in. So we are going to use social media. We have a lot of tips and tricks, trade secrets, but we're going to go out and work with people that are already employed. Okay. And again, I think that's a reason why we do so much front end work, because we want to make sure. And I say this to our candidates. If I'm talking to somebody, they've got a great job, they're not actively looking, and I'm convincing them to maybe come and talk to us about something else, I always want our company to feel good that we're speaking accurately about our clients. Right. So we're going to go out and hit them up and say, hey, you want to get on a phone call? And we get on a phone call and we have multiple interviews with them before we send them to our clients. That's great. A lot of our clients will hire the first person we send because we've done all the legwork on the backside of like, no, we talked to 40 people, this is the best. So, and they trust us. Yeah.
That's great. So you guys are based out of the Nashville area, but are you focused on the Nashville area, or are you?
No. In fact, I would say right now, I don't even know that we might have one or two clients in Nashville. We are nationwide. We have some clients in Oregon, California, all the way up into Vermont, Michigan. Great. Yeah, so all over.
Well, that's great. So today you're at a certain place in your business journey. Where do you want to be in a year, and where do you want to be in 3 years?
That's a great question. Our core values are ethical communication and better talent, better business. I don't know that we have a particular number in mind in terms of growth and income and revenue. Our mantra has always been we want to be true to family work-life balance. We want our employees to feel that way. So we like to continue to grow, but have it be kind of how it is now on a referral basis, where we can continue to feel good about the people that we represent. So if I had to, I know that's maybe not your answer.
That's okay.
But we want to continue to feel good about what we do, you know, and I think financially, all those things, when you stick to your core values and you stick to your principles, everything falls in line. So we've been very blessed.
And so you brought something up that I wanted just to touch on real quick, which is work-life balance. So you're a mom and you're a wife and you got a full-time business, and how's that working out for you? How do you find the balance?
Its moments, and we are blessed. So my husband works with us. He's our chief financial officer,
That's
and
great.
so we are able, when things do come up, to pivot, go to the office, you know, swap, right, be with kids. And we like to hire people that are kind of like us, that are focused on their children. We're all very flexible. If somebody has something come up, we'll all step in. We are all cross-trained. That's important. That was something that we set up within our organization, so everybody can kind of sit in everybody's seats. So yeah, it's a huge focus for us. Absolutely.
That's great. Awesome. Well, Kelly, thanks so much for spending the time. We really appreciate you being here.
I love it.
This was a great time. We appreciate it. For those of you that are watching, welcome to the journey. We're excited because this is a new series that we're starting. So awesome. Kelly's one of the people that we're excited to interview. And so we hope you enjoy the series. In the meantime, stay safe and be healthy.
Thank you.